We downed a whole bottle, then we took a few tabs.
Or something like that.
And then we went out into your hallway.
Smash that shit up. Fuck that shit up.
Okay, you're back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I was at a gig tonight at a place called St Kilda in Melbourne. For the people in Australia, you'll fucking know what I'm talking about. For the people overseas, is there really any point explaining? It's a fucking place. Who gives a shit? It used to be where all the drugs and fucked up shit went down. All the street hookers are there. A little bit like the red light district. But the place where I did this fucking gig, the bar a couple of doors down is where I had my first real bad acid trip. It was not a good fucking day on the acid. And I could feel the vibrations still from that day. I started getting a little bit sweaty. I didn't get flashbacks. I've never had acid flashbacks. I don't think they exist. But what I have had was years ago when I was waitering for this catering company. I did a year 11 formal. So I was doing the waitering at that, and I started looking at the kids. Not like that. That's such a hack joke. I was looking at them and I'm like, oh, that guy reminds me of a guy from high school that I know. That chick's the same as a girl I went to high school with. And I kept on looking around, and there was all these archetypes of the kids, you know, in high school, like the nerds, the jock, the bitch, the dyke. And every kid at this formal, I knew a kid similar to them in my high school. He reminds me of Matt Harvey. He reminds me of Tanner Dede. She reminds me of Kerry Marshall. Every single kid reminded me of someone I knew. And I kept doing it. And then their heads started changing when I was looking at them, which was a weird thing. I wasn't on acid at the time. I was waitering for the function. And so I'm looking around, and all the kids I went to high school with are now fucking walking around. I'm like, what the fuck is going on now? I'm like, I'm going insane. I'm looking around, all my high school friends are there. It's like I'm at my year 11 formal. I'm like, fuck, I've taken too much acid. I've overdone it on acid, and I've broken my fucking brain. I need to fucking take a breather here. I started sweating and shit, so I just walked out, went to the toilet, splashed some water on my face, and sat on the toilet for about fucking 45 minutes just going, all right, what the fuck was that? Who knows? Move past it, ignore it, push it down, let it pop up in some sort of psychosis later. Right now is not the time to deal with that. So that's the closest I've ever come to flashbacks. But I was definitely getting some vibes down in St Kilda tonight. So this time down in St Kilda, where I had my first bad acid trip, this is how it went down. It was St Kilda Festival, which was actually last weekend. St Kilda Festival, it's a massive fucking street festival. All the streets are closed off. Like 100,000 people go down there. Everyone gets on it. Everyone gets on the booze, the drugs. It's fucking chaos. They have a big fucking concert down on the beach. It's wild and it's fun. It's fun when you're young. I couldn't think of anything worse than going down there fucking last weekend. So I'm there. I'm with a big group of people. We're all getting fucking hammered. We're out in the beer garden. Everyone's standing around drinking. It's fucking packed in this beer garden. You can barely fucking move. All of us are half cut, and then I'm like, fuck it, let's take some fucking acid. So I tell my mate Trent, I've got like 10 acid trips on me. He wants a couple. I take a couple. We pin down one of my mates who didn't want to take acid and throw a couple in his mouth, which wasn't the nicest thing to do in fucking retrospect. But we did it. That's what happened. So we're chilling. About 45 minutes to an hour later, the acid starts kicking in. And everything's still chill. I'm like, fucking, this is sweet. The sun's out. St Kilda Festival with heaps of my good mates. It's all fucking chill as. And this acid is coming on strong, and I'm starting to fucking trip balls a bit. And we're out in this beer garden, and it's so fucking packed, no one can go to the fucking toilet. You can barely move. No one can get to the toilet. So one of my mates who needs a piss goes, I'm going to piss in a pint. And I'm like, yeah, man, piss in a fucking pint. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? So he pisses in this pint glass, fills it up to the top, and puts it down. Then 10 minutes later, LSD affected me, comes over and goes to pick up the pint full of piss. And my mates are going, no, don't touch it. It's fucking piss, man. It's piss. I'm like, can you shut the fuck up? I don't give a fuck if it's piss or not. And I pick it up, and by the time my hand had touched the glass and picked it up, in my fucking acid-affected head, I'd forgotten it was piss. I completely forgot. I thought I was holding a beer. Then I turn around with this pint of piss, and the crowd just fucking scatters. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I start walking towards them, and everyone's fucking piss bolting. And I'm so fucked. I don't even know why everyone's moving. And so I'm just walking around, and everyone is fucking scattering. And I'm like, this is fucking cool. So I start walking towards people and leaning towards them with the glass. And everyone's shitting themselves. And I keep doing it. And I end up in the middle of the beer garden in a massive empty circle by myself with the entire crowd watching what the fuck I'm doing, going, this guy has lost his fucking mind. And so I'm just laughing my head off in the middle. And I hold the pint full of piss up high, just laughing. And as I do that, some girl comes from behind me to run across to her friends on the other side. And I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I sort of jolt. And I would say a third of a pint of piss went directly on her head. It fell into her hair, went all over her, was a little bit in her face and shit like that. Then a couple of my mates come grab me, grab the pint glass, put it down, and then drag me out the front. They're like, dude, that girl you just spilt piss on is dating a biker, and he's here. And I'm like, hey, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't even know it was piss. How about I just go explain it and smooth things over? Then a couple of my other mates come over and they're like, Boyle, that biker dude is looking for you. You've got to get the fuck out of here now. I'm like, all right, boys, I'll catch you later. Have a good festival. I'll just be cruising around. So that was fine. I just left and I just blended into the crowd. 100,000 people. I was just walking around enjoying my acid trip, just loving life. Just in complete ignorant bliss. I had completely forgotten about the piss incident. Completely. And then I'm trying to call my mates to find them so I can hook back up with them, but I think they were kind of avoiding me that day because they didn't want any of the bikie heat on them. So it was real hard to get in contact with anyone. Then I got in contact with one of my mates, my oldest mate, and he couldn't refuse to answer my call, so he fucking answered. He's like, Boyle, you're really fucked up this time. There's fucking dudes looking for you everywhere. I'm like, it's all chill, man. I didn't mean to do it. I'll fucking smooth it over. And he's like, nah, man, this is pretty fucked. It's pretty full on. You poured piss in her hair. I'm like, I didn't know it was piss. I forgot it was piss as soon as I fucking picked it up. He's like, yeah, good luck explaining that to the Hells Angels, mate. I'm like, can I come meet you? So he told me where he was, and I started heading towards him. And then the paranoia started kicking in. I'm like, fuck, there's bikies after me. This is not a good scene for me. And there's 100,000 people around, so I'm looking at everyone. They're sort of looking at me. I'm fucking out of my mind on acid. I'm like, is that them? Fuck, who are they? Where are they? Are they going to jump me? And then on my way to meet my mate, a group of about 8 people stand in front of me and they're like, oh, you're the dude. You're the fucking dude. I'm like, what dude? You're the fucking dude that poured piss into that girl's hair. Man, they're after you. After that, I was fucked. I'm like, strangers know about this now. I am fucked. Anyone could be the enemy now. And I'm a sitting duck. So I started going back streets, jumping fences, freaking out. I was fucked. And I just couldn't pull it together. I could not pull it together. I thought everyone was after me, which they were probably. Even if I wasn't on acid, it's probably not the best situation. Meet up with my mates. They're like, dude, you're fucked. They weren't helping the situation at all. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm fucking out of here. get back to my mate's place. Every person that sees me is like, I heard you poured piss on that girl's hair. I'm like, is anyone ever going to let me live this down? So I was cooked. I couldn't even sleep. I was completely fucked. It took me like maybe 2 months, 3 months to recover from just that day. How much I fucking fried myself, like the residual anxiety and overthinking everything I've ever done in my entire life. Just completely fucking cooked. It's a lesson for you. If you're going to take acid, just do it in a fucking quiet room with 2 fucking friends. Stare at a picture or something. Do that. Don't be doing it in the middle of 100,000 people. That's just a life lesson from Boyle. Alright, that's it from me tonight. Add me on social media. Keep doing that. I'm Boyle Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Send me your stories. Been getting some fucking killer stories lately. Thanks for that. Thanks to everyone sending in their stories. I'm loving them. If you're enjoying the podcast, subscribe to it. Rate, review it wherever you listen to it. Tell your friends about it if you think they're going to like it. And that's it. I'll see you fucking later.